Well, it's always wonderful to come back to North American Martyrs, and I'd like to especially thank Father Franey for inviting me to what is really becoming a wonderful tradition here, this celebration of this Novena of the North American Martyrs. I certainly knew I had returned to a wonderful place, not only because of all the memories I have, but also because Pete gave me 2 peanut butter cups when I came in. Clearly remembered what I love, right? So I'm very grateful for that. God's Word uses words. In salvation history, God has reached out to us again and again through speech and through writing. The patriarchs, Abraham, Moses, Joshua, received God's commandments and wisdom through intimate conversation with the Lord. The prophets, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, even Jonah, proclaimed the divine message of conversion and hope. We just heard now God's word, even from a reluctant prophet like Jonah, can change the lives of an entire city. The scriptures convey the transforming story of God's love to every generation. And Jesus, the Son of God made flesh, the Word made flesh, taught his disciples, soothed the suffering, preached the kingdom, and declared the termination of his work from the cross in the words, "It is finished." But then followed by the cry of joy, "He is risen, Alleluia." God's word comes to us, of course, even now, in all its glory, every time that we hear the scriptures and hear them preached. God's speech comes to us as a speech of love. St. Jean de Brebeuf understood the power of words and the way God's word uses them. Born in France on March 25th, 1593, St. Jean entered the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, in 1617. And during his formation as a Jesuit, his superiors noted his remarkable facility with languages. Of course, a much valued talent for missionary work. He spent 2 extended periods as a missionary in New France in Canada, from 1625 to 1629, and then from 1633 until his martyrdom in 1649. Working in deep love with the Huron peoples. He quickly became renowned for his learning of their challenging language and teaching it to others. He even composed some of the earliest written works in their tribal tongue. St. John understood that in order to share God's word, he needed to learn their words. Their words. And not just crude translations, but expressions in their words that use the full beauty and poetry of their culture. In a way, as a missionary, he apprenticed himself to their tutelage, becoming an infant again. Remember what infant means in Latin, infans. It means non-speaker. He had to become a child again, so that he could, step by step, speak as a man in their tongue and in their world. Language serves as the bridge between human hearts. And St. Jean, with humility and love, tirelessly built that bridge to convey the hope of salvation history to a people that he dearly loved. And of course, St. John would have had nothing to say in any tongue if he had not sat at the feet of Jesus to listen to him and to receive. He was certainly a man of action who exhausted himself in teaching, in counseling, and in learning. But what he shared with the Huron people was not just rote lessons from seminary training, but what he had been gifted through the intimate conversation of prayer. What he shared came from what Jesus just called the better part, the silence of meditation before our loving God. When he and other Hurons were captured and tortured by an opposing Iroquois tribe, he endured through Christ's words living in his heart, and he put the needs of his fellow prisoners before his own. He received the martyr's crown on March 16, 1649. And that witness, that word of his life, continues to speak to us today. He now, with his fellow martyrs, truly have the better part. And he has shared that word with us all. I would just conclude by noting that other words from St. Jean René. It's called the Huron Christmas Carol, that comes to us in the Huron language, the oldest original Christian hymn from this continent, composed by Jean in their tongue. I'm not going to sing it for you. I'll leave that to Eagle's Wings. That would be too much of a distraction. But I will share with you the final verse, which expresses St. John's deep love for those he served. O children of the forest tree, O sons of Manitou, the holy child of earth and heaven is born today for you. Come kneel before the radiant boy who brings you beauty, peace, and joy. Jesus, your King, is born. Jesus is born in excelsis Gloria.